Hey, guess what? Chicken butt.
Chicken lips.
I just hate that so much.
What?
It really bothers me. It's like when people hear the word like moist or panties. Chicken lips is that for me.
My cousin used to call my god sister chicken lips, and every time she'd be like, chickens don't have lips. And he's like, that's the joke. Mm-hmm.
Anyways, hello and welcome to another episode of Meta Sidekicks. My name's Liv. This is M. M told you a chicken lips joke, so that's good enough for me. We are psychic mediums, twin flames, best friends, and, just here to tell you about all of the stuff that is metaphysical, spiritual, paranormal, and in between. Because as psychic mediums, we think that we're the most equipped to do that. So there.
Cocky.
Like chicken lips? Sorry.
You mean like rooster lips?
Oh, so gross to me. It just bothers me. Just walk up to a chicken and it actually has lips.
I think that's the joke.
That's a horrifying thing to look at.
I don't know, but it's an easier joke for me to understand than the dad jokes that you give me.
Oh,
really just need to say like butts and pudding, and that's pretty much good for me, or chicken lips.
Pudding is hilarious to me for whatever reason for a long amount of time. I do want to...
I'm saying it's easier.
Since we're talking about... Well, I'll let you guys know. Today we're going to be talking about tulpas and tulpamancy, or also known as thought forms. But before we get into that spiritual...
You're a thought.
T-H-O-T.
Rude.
I'm sorry. I will stop hitting that button. Please don't leave. I just want to talk about something that my husband said that was hilarious the other day. Since we're talking about weird phrases that make people uncomfortable. But I was telling my husband about how someone specifically that is in my family was just gassing me up, and they hurt my feelings because I was expressing to them just why I was doing something. And they were like, well, why are you even doing that? It's so stressful. Maybe you should just not do it. And I'm like, that is not helpful things to say, because I'm literally telling you all the reasons why I like to do what I'm doing, and you're telling me you should just give up because you're dumb, basically. And my husband told me that I should tell that person to, and I quote,
You're a thought.
Stop wheezing on my melons.
I don't understand what that means.
So if someone's yelling at you, just picture it. Like, you're at work and your manager's like, why aren't you doing this? This was due 8 days ago. You're not working fast enough. I implore all of you, please just look that person straight in the face and be like,
You're a thought.
Stop wheezing on my melons.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what it means either, but I love it. And it's my new thing. If someone's getting on my back, I am going to tell them to stop wheezing on my melons. So that is...
Did you ask him what that means?
Yes.
And what did he say?
He didn't tell me anything very constructive, so...
I don't believe you.
I just love that. And you can add that to your repertoire of chicken lips. So... I mean, look them dead in the eye and be like, listen here, chicken lips, quit wheezing on my melons.
That does sound like a Bradley phrase, doesn't it?
So that's your retort for today, sponsored by Spirituality and Bradley.
You going to tell me about thoughts now?
Yes, I am. So I was going to cover something that people call egregores.
Oh, is that the thing that, like, twinny things that look like things, or is that the thing that, like, people manifest thoughts into existence? Bullshit. Couldn't we talk about this already?
Yes, but not in detail, which is why I wanted to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to talk about egregores and thought forms due to a story I can no longer find to reference anywhere. I heard about this story on a podcast, and I cannot find it on their 300 and something episodes of podcasts. So I don't know if it was a fever dream, if it never happened, or if I'm terrible.
There's 300 episodes that you didn't go through all of them?
No, I did. I literally read every single one of them individually, and none of them said thought forms, egregores, or anything else of the sorts. So I was like, okay, I'm sad. So the story is that at one point in time, there was people that were interested in the parapsychology field that got a couple people together at this inn that was supposedly haunted. And these smart people, a part of, or at least working for the parapsychology team that was involved in this study from like the 50s or 70s or something, got together and tried to use the power of thought to manifest a ghost. Because people were already going to this inn place for paranormal investigations, and they wanted to see if people's manifestation of thoughts could bring about a ghost into existence that, without telling the people that were going to investigate said place, that this was not actually a ghost of any person, but the manifestation of this group of smart people's thoughts. And it happened. These people were able to manifest a ghost into existence. And they called it a thought form, I believe. But I also think other people have mentioned in comments of our videos, like, what do we think about thought forms and egregores and things like that? And I thought that they were the same, but they're not. So after slightly researching egregores, I found that I was actually looking more for details on something called a tulpa, and that egregores are very different from tulpas. Egregores, which are derived from the Greek word meaning wakeful, are defined as an esoteric concept representing a non-physical autonomous entity that arises from the collective thoughts of a distinct group of people. And they're also known as thought forms or collective group mind.
So Santa Claus.
Why do you have to fuck with me 7 minutes into this?
What do you mean? Example.
I mean, no, that is an actual fabulous example, and I'm excited to talk about this because I need ideas like that while we're talking about this podcast, because I was like going down a rabbit hole today. Like, I'm not even like a couple Wikipedia things into this, and
now you're a thought?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone's a thought. Everything's a thought. You're a thought. I'm a thought. She's a thought. Chicken Lips is a thought.
Were you not on the same page when I was already telling you that we were thoughts?
I mean, egregores, in researching them today, and then turning it into tulpas, they were wheezing on my melons.
I still don't know what that means.
What do you think it means?
Probably something dirty.
I don't think it's even dirty. I just think it means
could be dirty.
Someone's just yelling at you. They're just getting on your case. And it's just
Well, what are the melons?
Probably boobies.
Melons could be a lot of things.
Okay, well, if you're not a girl, maybe it's something else. But if someone's wheezing on them, you're probably
something else.
Stop wheezing on my melons. Anyways.
Is that why you couldn't explain it to you?
Maybe. But anyways, okay, it's actually egregores. Egregores. Egregores are not what I thought. They aren't the sort of tulpa thing that these researchers were able to manifest into an existence at this haunted inn. And if you guys know what I'm talking about, please send me what the story is, because I want to read it again, but I can't find it. And now I just feel crazy. So anyways, egregores specifically come from the Book of Enoch, or Enoch. How do you know how to
I think it's Enoch.
Enoch? Okay, that would make sense. I looked up the pronunciation of egregore, but not Enoch. So the Book of Enoch is specifically where egregores come from. And this book is about Noah's great-grandfather. And it's an ancient Hebrew text talking about the apocalypse, demons, angels, and the Nephilim, which are half angel, half people. So anyways, I learned egregores can be classified as thought forms, but are not the same thing as a tulpa. And because egregores go into the Book of Enoch, wait, is that what you said? Enoch?
Yeah, Enoch.
Enoch. Okay.
I mean, I don't know if that's actually how you pronounce it, but that's what my brain says.
Okay. However, the book, I'm sorry, I'm pronouncing it wrong. If you guys want me to talk about egregores and that book, I can make a separate episode on it. But based on the story that I can't find on the internet, I think what we're trying to look for and talk about is tulpas and or thought forms. But if you want to get into the weird specifics of it, egregores can be thought forms, and so can tulpas. Tulpas can also be a thought form, but egregores are very different from tulpas. So it's kind of like a fairy type thing. And by fairy, I mean, if you listen to our fairy podcast, it's like a weird ass classification of what is and what isn't. And like the lines are very skewed and weird. So with that being said, we're going to talk about tulpas because I think it can be better. Are you excited?
I have no idea.
Well, good. I didn't either until this morning.
Great. I don't know what any of this is, so.
I'm excited. So, tulpas and thought forms is what we're talking about today, and how those two things coexist together in this weird sort of spiritual dance of esoteric phenomena. Tulpa is a concept in theosophy, mysticism, and the paranormal of a materialized being or thought form, typically in human form, that is created through spiritual practice and intense concentration. Modern practitioners who call themselves tulpamancers use the term to refer to a type of willed imaginary friend which practitioners consider to be sentient and relatively independent. Modern practitioners predominantly consider tulpas to be a psychological rather than paranormal concept. Isn't that wild?
I don't know yet.
That's okay. Well, I'll read what I have and then we can have a discussion on it, or feel free to stop me and we can continue to talk about it. But I was losing my mind and I wasn't even that much of a deep dive into it. So I have heard while researching this that this is a concept, like tulpas or thought forms are a concept from Buddhist thought and Buddhist practices, which is great because the next thing I'm going to tell you is that there was a person called Annie Besant or Besant who was a part of the Theosophical Society that H.P. Blavatsky created. So if you know anything about the spiritualist movement in America, Helena Blavatsky is the person that started the Theosophical Society during the mid-18 to late 1800s in America. And she took a lot of her ideas about spirituality and theosophical teachings from Hindu and Buddhist religions. The theosophist Annie Besant, who took over leadership of the Theosophical Society after Helena Blavatsky's death in 1891, released a book in 1905 that she wrote with Theosophical Society co-member C.W. Leadbeater, and this book is called Thought Forms. So in 1905, Annie and Charles Leadbeater released a book called Thought Forms. In this book, she and Leadbeater divide the idea of thought forms into three classes: forms in the shape of the person who creates them, forms that resemble objects or people and may become ensouled by nature spirits or by the dead, and forms that represent inherent qualities from the astral or mental planes, such as emotions. In this book, one of the things they describe is auras and the colors' meanings. And this leads us to our next idea from another occultist. So far, tulpas, or thought forms, specifically tulpas, are the manifestation of someone's thoughts into existence, such as someone that is like an imaginary friend to them. But it can also be emotions that are projected or spiritual aspects of yourself, like auras. So they say that manifesting someone or something into existence, like these scientists did in the 50s at this inn that I can't find a story for, is a tulpa. But your aura is also a tulpa.
We have seen imaginary friends in locations before, number one.
Yes.
Number two, I don't think an aura is a tulpa.
I know.
Okay, great. It's literally the electromagnetic forces of a human being.
Yes.
Objects that are not sentient have auras.
Yes.
So then how is that a tulpa?
I'm just telling you that the original people in the Americas that talked about tulpas in their 1905 book called Thought Forms talk about auras. And I actually have a picture from their book that they had someone draw out colors to tell you what each tulpa color of a person means.
Weird.
Right? It's very weird. It's very interesting.
Wait. Ask your spirit guides if this is true.
Well, I don't even want to ask my spirit guides anything because I'm like, are spirit guides tulpas?
Just say yes or no, true or false. Which one?
I feel like yes and no, but I don't know.
Oh, okay. That's an answer. I don't think those are auras.
Oh.
I think those colors are something else.
Okay. And they just interpreted them as auras.
Yeah.
Okay. That would make more sense. But again, you know how I feel about colors, and like it literally was like color meanings of people's auras. And there's one that's like light blue. And it says this is devotion to a noble ideal.
Did a man come up with that?
I think a man is the one who made the pictures and illustrations and colors, but they're the ones that denoted it to him, like described them.
There's a man standing next to you. He's skinny, tall, has brown hair, it's short and wavy. And he's the one that talks about how it's not your aura, the electromagnetic force that you emit. It is the like psychokinetic energy that you are emitting in a more psychological basis. So it's like the stuff that creates poltergeist.
Oh, it's the colors of energy that make people make things.
Yeah.
Got it. That would make more sense. Because there's a yellow one in here, and yellow says highest intellect. There's purple, like a light purple mauve color, and it says this is the love for humanity. They have one that's literally brown with little red hash marks in it, and it says this is jealousy. Pink says that it's unselfish affection. And then they have green, that's like a light green or like a sage green that says it's sympathy. And it's just interesting.
Yeah, he says that our aura, our energy is used in order to create energy. The created energy are the colors that you're talking about. So he's talking about manifestation witchcraft. He's talking about how poltergeists are formed from human beings. He shows me that it's like our energy centers create energy, and if you are good at energy manipulation, you can string it together or string things from other things together.
Oh, so like making new paint colors.
Yeah, so like if you're a witch, you're going to take like your yellow energy, and then you're going to take some sort of physical energy of whatever you're working with, and you string both the things together, and it helps strengthen your energy in order to manifest something different to happen.
Makes sense. That makes a lot more sense. I was like, I don't know what they're talking about, but also I'm just here to talk, like give the facts. And I thought this would be a great thing to talk about, which is like talking points in general. Because it was blowing my mind a little bit.
Tall man says so. You're welcome.
Perfect. I think he's quoted somewhere in the Wikipedia article I was reading, but he did the illustrations, and you can read about him in the 1905 book. So anyways, the book describes what we just talked about, which is the auras and their colors meanings. But this leads us to our next idea from another occultist. So it's like this piggyback sort of thing on the idea of tulpas, which originate from Buddhist thought, where they think it's the creation of like an imaginary friend that is sentient and can turn into their own person or be embodied by another soul or spirit. And then these people from the Theosophical Society, Annie and Charles, and now William Walker Atkinson, sort of create different things about it or try to expand upon it.
Imaginary friends are extensions of one who've created the imaginary friend's energy. He says that when you have an imaginary friend, it's almost like you express that energy outward and place it into a space.
Yes.
And that is how it becomes sentient.
Yes. So, occultist William Walker Atkinson, in his book, The Human Aura, described thought forms as a simple ethereal object emanating from the auras surrounding people, generating from their thoughts and feelings. He further elaborated in Clairvoyance and Occult Powers how experienced practitioners of the occult can produce thought forms from their auras that serve as astral projections, which may or may not look like the person who is projecting them, or as an illusion that can only be seen by those with awakened astral senses. So that would be like how we can see other people's imaginary friends or their tulpas.
Yeah, that's what I just explained to you.
It's a lot, though. I was like, what is happening?
What do you mean?
It's just a lot.
Why?
It's like a mind fuck.
I don't know.
So if you're talking to someone who has an imaginary friend, I just feel like, or a tulpa, how do you know that it's a tulpa and not a human soul?
Because it's connected to that person's energy. It's an extension of their energy.
Okay.
Yeah, because they show me like a little kid. The little kid has a lot of blue and purple energy, and he expresses a blue and... Sorry, he says this is him. He expresses the blue and purple energy as extension of an imaginary friend.
Got it. Interesting.
Wait, can I ask you another true or false question?
Sure.
Yes, is this true?
Oh, to the imaginary friend thing?
Just, is this true? Which one is it?
Is what true?
The question I have in my head.
No.
It's not true? Okay, just wanted to make sure. Because you can also get into, like, spirit guides and spirit guides being imaginary friends. So I just wanted to make sure that we can't project a spirit guide or an imaginary friend as a spirit guide. So that's not true.
Okay. Because that's what was fucking with me today, too. And that's what I also thought. I was like, listen here, spirit guide people.
He says it's because it's not an extension of you. Your spirit guides are aspects of you. Because I usually see, like, first spirit guides, like spirit guides that come in with children, as, like, things that look like imaginary friends. But that's not the same thing.
Yes. And that's also why I would assume people's spirit guides can look different to different people. Because, again, you're using your idea or ideas to cultivate what they actually look like, because it doesn't necessarily matter.
Well, spirit guides are spirits, so they have the ability to manifest all of their lives to you. Number one. Number two, they also have the ability to manifest other things to give you information. So for me, if they're a spirit guide from their childhood, they'll show me things that are childlike because it's a message to me to know when they have come into existence. However, like Zeroth is a cloud shapeshifter looking thing. However, I had a reading by some lady, and I feel like he has a past life where he is the person that she saw.
Oh, really?
Yeah, where he's this, like, Italian-looking dude.
Interesting. I thought it was just what she has in her head is the ability to see spirit guides as people.
Yeah, and the reason why I started thinking about it like that is because I have this new spirit guide named Sebastian, and Sebastian has the ability to come in as any of the past lives. So, remember when I told you about that spirit guide named Prince?
No.
The yellow one? There's a video about it. I told you when we were on an investigation at McDonald's. Anyways, he's the same spirit guide as Sebastian.
Oh, the Opera House? That was a really long time ago. I think I remember you mentioning that while I was eating a McFlurry.
He's Sebastian. But
Princes? Okay.
Prince Charming.
Got it.
Yeah. So Sebastian has the ability to change himself into other past lives that he has had. So he was telling me that Zeroth has the same thing. Because it gives different messages depending on who is reading. So it's not necessarily that they don't look like that, and it's not necessarily that they do either.
Okay. All right. Next is spiritualist Alexandra David, I think it's Neal, stated that she had observed Buddhist tulpa creation practices in 20th century Tibet. She described tulpas as, quote, magic formations generated by a powerful concentration of thought, unquote. David Neal believed that a tulpa could develop a mind of its own. Quote, once the tulpa is endowed with enough vitality to be capable of playing the part of a real being, it tends to free itself from its maker's control. According to David Neal, this happens nearly mechanically, just as the child, when their body is completely able to live apart, leaves its mother's womb. She said she has created such a tulpa in the image of a jolly friar, tuck-like monk, which she claimed had later developed independent thought and had to be destroyed. David raised the possibility that her experience was illusory. I may have created my own hallucination, she says, though she and others could see the thought forms that she created. So, like, she knows this isn't a real thing, and she'd walk up to someone with her manifested thought form, and I assume be like, who's standing next to me? And they would explain who's standing next to her, and she's like, great, that's not a real person, that's my thought form. That's crazy!
Do I have a thought form?
I don't know, have you made one?
My spirit guides say that they're all... Okay, do you see one?
I don't know.
Don't think about it. Do you see a person near me?
Yes.
Okay, what did they look like? give me characteristics.
Do they look like me? But like in a weird way.
I don't
It's
know
like
what that means.
they look different from me, but they have characteristics of me.
Which is what?
I don't know. It's like if you were to make me into Kim Possible. That's the way I can explain it. Is that correct?
No.
Oh. Okay.
But you might just be seeing them differently. What's their like personality?
Obnoxious like me.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Because I was wondering if you were seeing my maladaptive daydreams, but my maladaptive daydreams have been created by past life stories that I've had.
Those are in a space, though. That's like an entire place, not necessarily like a thing.
What's the difference?
One's a dreamscape and one's a thought form.
You don't think I can pull them out?
I don't think you were.
Well, I was trying to.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I don't know what you were seeing. Are you seeing yours?
Maybe. I have no idea. It's weird to me. All of this is makes me very uncomfortable. So anyways, next one. Let's talk about what tulpamancers are. And it is extremely explanatory if you know what mancer and tulpa means. Tulpamancers is something that was influenced by depictions in television and cinema from the 1990s and early 2000s. The term tulpa started to be used to refer to a type of willed imaginary friend. Practitioners considered tulpas to be sentient and relatively autonomous. Online communities dedicated to tulpas spawned on the 4chan and Reddit websites. The communities referred to tulpa practitioners as, quote, tulpamancers. 4chan and Reddit communities gained popularity when adult fans of My Little Pony began discussing tulpa characters and their manifestation using meditation and lucid dreaming techniques. These practitioners believed a tulpa is a real or somewhat real person. And Slender Man has been described by some as a tulpa effect and attributed to multiple people's thought processes. So, do you want to explain what Slender Man is, or do you want me to explain what Slender Man is for anybody that might not know what it is?
Wouldn't Slender Man be, what was the other one? Is it Egregore, which is a collective of people believing in something?
Well, tulpas can be a collective of people believing in things too, I believe, which is why they throw them under the category
so
of
are we
thought
playing
forms.
the, like, a rectangle? Well, a square is a rectangle, but a rectangle isn't always a square. Bullshit.
Yes, because
Okay. Got it.
egregores technically come from the origination of that book.
Okay. And tulpas come from egregores?
Tulpas do not come from egregores. Tulpas come from Buddhist thought.
But are they a kind of egregore?
No, because egregores, I think, are supposed to be types of angels and demons and Nephilim.
Okay.
Exactly.
I have no idea what an egregore is at all. So.
I feel like they might just be the spiritual, and I could be wrong, which is why we can do a separate episode on it. If you're listening to us on our Metapsychics Extras YouTube channel, please comment if you want us to do an episode on egregores separately. But I feel like they're the spiritual thought forms, and tulpas are the non-spiritual thought forms, like ones that are not associated to religions necessarily. I think egregores would be like...
Yeah, I don't know. The way you explained it originally made me think of an egregore was a collective of people manifesting something into existence, and this other one is just one person manifesting it, or a small amount of people.
I think it's the difference between esoteric and esoteric. Esoteric beliefs are spirituality, so it doesn't come from one set religion, whereas exoteric beliefs come from a set religion. And I think that's the difference between an egregore and a tulpa.
Okay.
I know she's rubbing her eyes and holding the bridge of her nose, and I'm like, that was me when I was researching this.
Well, I mean, I don't think the name matters now.
Well, if someone...
A thought form.
Well, that's why both can be referred to as a thought form, but a tulpa is different than an egregore.
Yeah, and I have no idea why. So.
I was trying to make this weird-ass spiritual Venn diagram this morning with my crayons, and I was just ending up eating the crayons, so, you know.
Yeah.
I was wheezing on my own melons. So anyways. So Slender Man, if you guys don't know, is the creation of this person who entered a film contest, I believe. Don't quote me on this because I'm just trying to remember what I read about that and learned about Slender Man a while ago. So this person entered into a contest to make like weird, scary CGI photographs, basically. And this guy won. And it's just this weird black and white photo of this elongated, like creepy, fuzzy, blurry, cryptid looking man thing that was on like the set of a school playground by like a fence and swing set. And because of this, Creepypasta, which is a website all about scary stories that people make, got a hold of it and made Slender Man into like this scary, scary, scary sort of story thing where he like eats children on planets, or like not planets, playgrounds and things like that. Planet. Well, technically it is a planet.
One planet, not multiple.
That's true. I don't think Slender Man is on different planets.
Yep.
But because this story got so scary, all of the young adults on Reddit and 4chan probably started making a tulpa of him. And it actually turned into a murder case. So if you want to learn about that too, we could also cover the Slender Man murders, which is pretty grisly and horrible. But anyways, he's not real. Slender Man's not real. But since people decided to believe that he was real, Slender Man could be what they call a tulpa effect. So people manifesting energy into whatever this Slender Man thing is.
Yeah.
So, stuff to fuck with your mind. So we can create tulpas or thought forms. However, there's also the theory that if you were, for example, to imagine a dragon, you're not actually creating the thought form. Some people think that you're calling on something that already exists, which is like the dragon you're thinking of. So some people are like, I have this imaginary dragon that is the tulpa that I created. And then other people argue the fact that you might just be seeing a dragon or perceiving a metaphysical dragon, and it's putting itself in the place of what you think is yours, but it's not you.
You remember that dragon that you had an imaginary friend of?
Yeah.
You have a lot of imaginary friends, so do you have tulpas? Are they real?
Probably not anymore.
Not anymore?
No.
Why not?
Well, because I don't interact with them anymore, so I assume they would putter out.
Why does time matter?
Well, it's not time, it's energy.
Uh-huh.
So if the energy
time and energy, why can't you just talk to them from a time in which they had more energy? Is what I'm saying.
Because I don't care.
Well, we're talking about thought forms, dude.
Well, no, it's because I don't care about them anymore, so...
Well, I know, but that's what I'm bringing it up so you can talk to them, because we're literally talking about imaginary friends and thought forms.
Okay, have I told you about my other imaginary friends?
Your, like, little animal things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember what they are, though?
No.
Okay.
They're not my imaginary friends, dude.
Okay. I'm thinking about them very hard right now.
You have, like, a weird pink dog thing?
You might be seeing it as pink because of certain reasons, but I did have a dog. Do you know what kind of dog?
I'm really bad at kinds of dogs. Is it something like, I don't know what any of these dogs are called. Meaty?
Meaty?
Yeah, like thick with 2 C's.
Yeah.
Yeah. A bulldog. No, that's not the word. I don't know.
Are you thinking about a pug?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I have another one that's an animal. I'm thinking very hard about them.
Is there like a bird?
God, motherfucking shit tits.
That's what you're like, I don't care about. We're talking about imaginary friends.
Okay, what colors are they? Or what
colors are hard for me, clearly, since I think your dog is pink.
Well, I think the pink that you're seeing is because when I had those imaginary friends, I really needed love.
I know. Because colors, synesthesia.
Well, that's probably the color I was putting into it as a child because it was traumatizing.
Well, the bird is yellow, purple, and green.
Okay.
And orange.
Okay.
And they're like striped together.
Interesting. Do you know what kind of bird that they look like, though?
Like a cockatoo.
God, Jesus Christ.
That's why I was like, why are we not talking about them? You're like, well, I don't care about them. Like, we're literally, we're doing this now.
Okay, yeah, no, I had a pug. I don't remember what his name was. And then I had a cockatoo that I would talk to all the time because I had to go with my dad on the weekends and not with my mom because my parents were divorced. And I hated it because I could never bring my dogs with me because my dad lived in an apartment and I would just manifest animals that I could talk to and hang out with by myself because I couldn't bring my dogs with me. But it's wild that you picked up that it's a cockatoo and a pug, because those were the things that I wanted. Tulpas are real. Okay, I fucking get it. Are they going to take over the world, though? Do I have to destroy them like that girl in Tibet?
You gotta give them more energy, dude. Maybe you should, like,
No.
go into a haunted location, like the Conjuring house that has a lot of energy, and then just think about them real hard and squeeze your cheeks together.
And just leave them there?
Yeah.
Be like, goodbye, Tulpas. I'm leaving.
There's probably a lot of Tulpas in the Conjuring house.
Oh, for sure. Well, I also wanted to talk about, too, like, what do you think, since this freaking thing that I can't find on the internet anymore that doesn't exist about people manifesting of ghosts that people could perceive, just like you're perceiving my fucking imaginary friends, because that's literally what these other people did. Mm-hmm. Do you have someone in your dreamscape that is like Sasuke?
You're gonna have to give me more than that.
I don't know. That's just the vibe that they give me.
Are they a dude?
They might be dudeish, but they also might just be non-binary. Like, they kind of feel like a girl, but they also kind of feel like a guy.
Well, what do they look like?
They have dark hair. They give me Sasuke vibes of like, all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They're like,
I don't know. Can you pick up the maladaptive daydream person?
Well, he's in one of them, or this thing is in one of them.
Yeah.
You have a lot of them. You have like 7 or more. They all, okay.
Trauma.
The way they look like to me is like, you know, like a puddle, if you were looking at a puddle from like the side so you can see that it has depth. That's how I see each of your dreamscapes or your maladaptive dreams. Well,
there's one that has the most energy.
This one has a lot of yellow and pink around it.
Okay.
Okay. Is that the one with Sebastian in it?
God damn it, yes.
Okay. So I don't see them as like, I see them as like the whole thing, and then I have to pick pieces out of it. Okay. Whereas my imaginary friends are just fucking there. God damn it.
My spirit guide say that yours are more simplistic.
Yeah.
Mine are
yours is
Virgo
like, tell me what this entire book is. It's like looking at the folder and having to know everything in the folder.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you're like, tell me
which one am I thinking
from
about
a
right
folder. Now? One that has water.
Yeah.
I cannot do this anymore. No, it's freaking me out.
What do they look like?
I don't know. There's the dreamscape has water in it. Are you a mermaid or something?
They're a waterbender.
Got it. Cool.
What else?
You have like a whole village there.
Well, yeah, but this one person.
Well, yeah.
Focus on one. It's a maladaptive daydream.
Is it a male?
No.
Do they have a male friend?
Yes, village. Sorry. So they're female presenting.
Would you look like Toph but be a waterbender?
Something else about Toph.
I don't know. You're blind?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, this is freaking me out. I'm not doing it anymore.
I told you.
I'm so fucked up right now. That.
Yeah.
Fucked up.
My maladaptive daydream girl, she has like ice blonde hair. She's blind and she can see things through water. So she's like Toph.
Okay, but a waterbender. Got it.
But she can bend water.
Interesting. So I feel like this could also be applicable to when people go to haunted locations and do paranormal investigations. Like, do you think that they manifest things there before they leave?
Kind of.
I feel like it takes more time for things to manifest like that.
Yeah.
But
this man says it's like an imprint. So he's talking about how when people go into a location and say the same thing over and over and over again.
Okay, got it.
So like little scary children.
Got it.
That's how they become more solid. Because when you have people coming in and out of a space, it kind of stirs things up, which keeps things more haunted. However, the things that you're talking about don't fully form until people go in and like think about the same thing over and over and over and over again.
And I think that's what happened when we were when I was trying to find that story that I can't find anymore. The people had to like have a month or a week or some extended amount of time that they spent in the location and like wholeheartedly believing in the story of the person that they created.
Yeah, but we like go to haunted locations and there's always like a scary version of children.
Oh, spirits. Yeah. It's just a normal kid. And they're like, this is my demon that people created about me.
Yes. That's the entirety of what you're talking about.
Yeah, which is crazy. Mm-hmm. So did you like my small dissertation on tulpas?
Yeah, I'm glad that you can see my maladaptive daydream.
Yeah, they're weird. I mean, not weird, just the way I see them.
It's just
is
weird that you can see them.
You saw my fucking whatever they're called.
Yeah,
Imaginary
you didn't
friends.
think that I would.
No!
I know. That's why you're like, this doesn't matter. Like, what are we talking about right now?
Yeah, it just mind fucks me. So if you guys have any Tulpa dreams, please, or not Tulpa dreams, but just like Tulpa
Imaginary
stories.
friends.
Tulpa stories. Like, did you ever walk over your friend's house and like see their imaginary friends or something? I don't know. Tell us your Tulpa stories, and maybe we'll do like a whole listeners episode if we get enough on them. You can submit your stories by going down to the show notes and looking at the link that says submit your spooky story here or something like that. But researching this was interesting. If you want us to talk about egregores in a different way, also let us know. If you could leave us a like on YouTube, if you're watching this on Metapsychics Extras, and leave a dad joke for us on your Apple review, that would be fabulous. Or just something funny that you liked that we were talking about, and we'll shout you out in the next podcast episode that comes out.
Wowee.
You got a dad joke for us or no?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
We've been pulling dad jokes from our Discord server, which is fun because we do have a section just for dad jokes. We also have a section for D&D where you can play D&D with M and our other patrons that are hilarious and awesome and super funny. And you can learn more about Patreon in the show notes too, if that's something you're interested in.
Okay, I got two for you.
'Kay.
First one. I tried to catch some fog. I missed.
I had to think about that one for a while. Jesus. Pregnancy brain.
Second one. A dyslexic man walks into a bra.
Okay. It's supposed to be a bar. I got it. I had to
give you a third one.
Okay.
Broken pencils are pointless. I like how that's the one you got.
Immediately, my brain had to be on the same wavelength of not talking to Tulpas and listening to dad jokes.
That's it.
All right.
From Jer.
Jer Bear.
I don't know, from Midnight Roses. Jer. That's there.
I'm going to lovingly name you Jer Bear. Hopefully you don't hate that. But thank you, Jer, for your submission of dad jokes. Until next time, we are your Metapsychics.
Wow. Now ask my maladaptive daydream how I can be them.